So we continue on with Iphigeneia in Tauris, and she has come out and said that she's had this funny dream in which all these strange things have happened, and she interprets the dream to mean that Orestes is dead, because she began the rites that she practices there in Tauris of killing strangers, and she interprets this capital, it's fallen to the ground and it's let forth hair. She interprets that as referring to Orestes, and whomever my lustrations strike, they die. And then we did this little bit in square brackets. Nun un, now therefore. Now on the next line we have a participle, feminine participle from parami, and we get this usual little Greek trick of doing parous aponti. So this is from parami, I am present. This is from apami, I am absent. This goes with the subject, this goes with the dative here. So therefore now I wish, so I being present, I wish Dunai from Didomi to give Koas offerings to my brother who is absent. And then a little bit of ascendenton here sort of breaks off. For, this is optative from dunamai, we would be able, understand, to do these things. So it's a bit like, you know, that's the least I can do. Along with the servant women, the prospoloisi, and then although it's in a different case, in opposition to that, the Greek women who the master, this is Thoas, gave to, well, to us, it's to me. Greek often has plural for singular, so although it's us in the Greek, we translate it to me. So the Greek women whom the master gave to me. But ex itius, tinos goes with that. So for what reason not yet are they present? So it's a fancy way of saying why aren't they here yet? Amy, I will go, esodomon, into the house in which I dwell. And in opposition to domon is this last bit here, the house which is the temple, the anaktoron. It's plural, the temples of the goddess, but again plural for singular. So I will go inside the house where I live, the house which is the temple of the goddess. Now at this point, of course, Iphigenia leaves the stage and Orestes and Pylades come in. And they're looking about very carefully to make sure they don't get seen at this point. And so Orestes says, horror, look, keep an eye out. Fulasu I should say, keep guard, this is middle. Keep guard lest, understand, there is somebody of mortals on the path, lest there is some human being on the path. Pylades says, Horo, I am looking, because he's been ordered look. He says, I am looking. We get a participle here, strephone, turning my oma, my eye, pantake in all directions, scopu my eye, keep a lookout. So I am looking, I'm keeping a lookout, turning my eye in all directions. O Pylades, this is a vocative here from Pylades. Now we get a question here. So, do Tauta these things seem to you to be the melathra, the halls of the goddess? The goddess, or the halls, where, or so to which, we set our course, we set out from Argos, we set our noun, our ship, which is a sea ship. So to where from Argos we set our sea ship on course. Perhaps we dispatched, for this might be easier there. So where from Argos we dispatched our sea ship. Emoige. Now this often happens in Stigomythia here, where you've got alternating lines, and because he says, does it seem to you? And he says emoige. This is emoi plus ge. That when you see ge after a question, it means yes, yes, it does seem so to me. So that's just a short way of putting it all together. So emoi ge, yes, it does seem so to me, Orestes. And then this is just very repetitive, it's just filling the line really. It is necessary, sun dokain, to agree with you. So, in other words, saying, yes, I totally agree with you. Kai bomos, and the altar, where, who, so that's where, Greek, blood, phonos means death or slaughter, but here I think often translates as blood. Kataskadze is drips down. And Pylades says a goon, well, at least. Now I'm going to read, instead of trichometer, which means hairs, we're going to read thrincometer, which is in the apparatus criticus. You'll see Runken has suggested that, which is probably easier, and that just means coping stones. So these are the coping stones. If you want to imagine what this is, you occasionally see fences made of brick, and then on top you'll see a nice cap on top, and that's the coping stones. So for at least, the coping stones, neuter plural singular verb, literally have yellow things resulting from blood. So you translate it as and at least the coping stones, you probably translated that as the verb to be, so are yellow with blood, as a result of blood. Thrinkois, and again a question, do you see the skula? Now this is the booty, but here it's referring to the heads of the dead men. So it's literally, do you see the booty, eretamina, from artao, fixed under the corner, the coping stones themselves. So you're meant to see, you're meant to imagine the heads of the victims that have been fixed underneath the coping stones. So it's a pretty grim sight. They're coming along and they see this temple and they see these heads tied up there, fixed or tied up under the coping stones as a warning to others. And rather grim reply from Pylades. He says, get, yes. When you see get after a question, it means, so you translate it as yes. These are the acrothenia, the first fruits that you offer the god at the beginning of the harvest. So yes, these are the first fruits of the dead strangers. Now that's a shortened form. It's kata plus kata thenesco. The alpha drops out for the sake of meter and gives you a long syllable, and rather than two short ones there. Allah, but creon, it is necessary scopain you, to look well, to keep your eye out. Literally enclocunta, circling your eye. So it is necessary for you to keep an eye out on what's happening, is basically what he's saying. So it is necessary for you, circling your eye, so looking around with your eye to be on the lookout, euskopane. O Phoebus, vocative. Literally where, and it's a well, sort of rhetorical question. I suppose there's no question mark here, so it's a rhetorical question. So where, and often in Greek, when you see where, you often translate it as English as why, particularly in Greek drama. So it's more, why have you led me into this arcus net? Kresas, having given oracles. So having given your oracles, why have you led me into this net? When epede etesamen, I got vengeance for the haima patros, for the blood of my father. So since I took revenge for the blood of my father, kataktas, from kataktano, having killed my mother. So since all that, we literally were being driven as exiles by successions of Euripides, by successions of Furies. So by successions of Furies, we were driven as exiles, ex-edroi. Well, it's out from the seats. So it's just another way of saying out from the land. It's literally from our seat. So just out from the land. And ex eplesa, I have completed many, let me get this funny expression here, twisting runnings. So twisting journeys. The idea is that they've gone back and forth. They've gone to one place and then they've turned back and gone back where they started from. So perhaps many twisting journeys. And having come, I asked you how I might come to the end of this wheeling madness and understand how I might come to the end of my labours, of my troubles. The troubles which I have laboured at, or I was labouring at, peripollone, wandering up and down Greece. But you told me to come to the borders of the Tauric land, of the land of Tauris, there, or perhaps where Artemis, Sungonosoi, your relative, so your sister, might have her altars, and to take the agalmathias, the image of the god, which they say to have fallen here. Now the apo, notice the accent, it goes back with uranu, from heaven into these temples. And that having taken it, either by trickery or by some stroke of good luck, literally having fulfilled the danger, so having run the risk, to give it to the land of the Athenians. But what happened after that, the bit after that, nothing further was said. So that's the aorist passive from Lego. So what happens after that, nothing further was said, and that having done these things, I would have, future from Echo, apnoias, a breather, from my troubles. So I would get rest from my troubles.